The Beijing Olympics are coming up. My view is that the Western world never should have given them to them for 2008, let alone rewarding with them with the Winter Olympics coming up. But I've got to say, while the Biden Booster Network normally I cannot stand, at least they are taking a principled position. CNN and one of its hosts are saying up front, we're not really going to talk about the event. We're going to use it as 2 weeks to focus on the evils of China. Roll the tape.
We're going to start a new series here at The Lead. It's called Behind China's Wall, because behind the fanfare and the glamour of the upcoming Olympic Games are a lot of ugly truths that the Chinese government wants you to ignore.
Hallelujah, Aaron. Exactly what it should be, because so often, if you end up signing a little Olympic rights deal, you've got a reporter there, it's essentially, get away with some archery thrown in. The reality is it's time to tell the truth about China.
Absolutely. And I've hosted plenty of international events and I've done so for over a decade. And so much of your role is to sell that country, sell that place. You get paid, essentially. Part of the deal is to do that. There is no way that any network can do that. And good on CNN, you're exactly right. They're not probably the first network I would have thought of to do this. Regardless of the motivation behind it, any light we can shed on the atrocities of the Chinese Communist Party, we need to do. There's history here, though. This is really interesting. During the Tokyo Games, the Global Times, which is obviously the mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party, wrote quite a scathing article about CNN's coverage of their athletes and made the point, and it's so bizarre, but said that they were trying to tarnish their global reputation. And one of the examples they used was a CNN commentator saying, this Chinese athlete has won gold and there's an increase in COVID cases. And they argued that this was really, really awful and nasty and mean. And I'd say to the Chinese Communist Party, who I'm sure are big viewers of yours, that you're doing a really good job yourselves of tarnishing your global reputation. So good on CNN. I think 20 minutes a day they're going to dedicate to this, and good on them, so they should.
Yeah, look, I've no doubt it's some poor bugger's job in the Chinese embassy to transcribe this show and send it back. Hello, whoever you are. Glad you're enjoying your work. I'll have plenty more for you for the rest of the year, pal. Stephen, this is the thing where it seems like NBC, the Americans, are not physically going to go to China to cover. I think that's about cost. But anyway, Channel 7 is inevitably going to find themselves in this position of, how beautiful is this, how beautiful is that. Nobody's suggesting that you go live from the curling to a conversation about the Uyghurs. But about time someone says, you know what? No. We're not going to give the PR war. We're going to balance it out with a bit of reality.
Yeah, look, it's great. And as you say, it's great to see a channel that's considered to be left of centre really honing in and focusing on this. I mean, there's plenty to work with. You've got the suppression of democracy in Hong Kong, and there's still people, activists disappearing, journalists disappearing off the streets of Hong Kong, being locked up and just not being able to express a view. You've got the Uyghurs, you've got the bullying all around the world, whether it be the bullying of Australia, the bullying of Germany, the threats to small countries like, I think it's Lithuania, who dared to say that they might recognise Taiwan and let them have an embassy. So it's great to see that the left, broad left, there's plenty of good left-wingers who've been very consistent on this, but the broad left is starting to understand the true face of communist China.